It began as a faint glimmer in the darkness, a speck of light moving against the stars. Astronomers first noticed it in early 2025, a slow-moving object entering the solar system from deep interstellar space. At first, it seemed ordinary, another icy wanderer drifting through the void, but within weeks it became clear that this was no ordinary comet. They called it 3I/ATLAS, the third interstellar object ever discovered. It came from nowhere, traveling faster than any comet before it, cutting through the outer solar system like a ghost. But what made it truly strange wasn't its speed, it was what happened next. The awakening. As 3I/ATLAS approached the orbit of Jupiter, telescopes around the world began to notice something impossible. The comet wasn't shrinking as it neared the sun. It was growing. Its coma, the glowing halo of gas and dust surrounding its icy core, expanded at an unnatural rate. Its brightness increased tenfold in just a few days. And its mass, somehow, appeared to be increasing. Comets don't grow, they erode. They lose material as sunlight vaporizes their ice. But 3I/ATLAS was defying every rule of physics. At first, scientists thought it was an illusion, a trick of light, a miscalculation. But the data was consistent. The comet was expanding, brightening, and behaving like something alive. The Mars encounter. By October, 3I/ATLAS had crossed the orbit of Mars. The planet's orbiters turned their cameras toward it, capturing images that would leave scientists speechless. The surface of the comet was covered in strange geometric ridges, hexagonal patterns that looked almost artificial. Jets of gas erupted from beneath the surface, but instead of dispersing into space, they condensed into new material, thickening the comet's crust. It was as if the comet was rebuilding itself. Spectral analysis revealed something even stranger: the presence of complex organic molecules, compounds that shouldn't exist in such abundance on a comet. And beneath the surface, the density readings began to change. 3I/ATLAS wasn't just growing brighter, it was getting heavier. The data that changed everything. NASA's Deep Space Network began tracking subtle gravitational shifts in the comet's path. Its trajectory was changing, slightly but measurably. That could only mean one thing: its mass was increasing. But how could a comet gain mass in the vacuum of space? Some scientists suggested it was absorbing interplanetary dust. Others proposed it was interacting with dark matter, invisible particles that make up most of the universe's mass, but none of the models fit. The rate of growth was too fast, the energy output was too high. Something else was happening, something no one could explain. The signal. Then came the signal. In mid-October, the European Space Agency's Trace Gas Orbiter detected a faint repeating radio pulse coming from the comet's vicinity. At first it was dismissed as interference, but when NASA's Deep Space Network confirmed the same pattern, the world took notice. The signal wasn't random. It pulsed every 47 minutes, perfectly timed, perfectly consistent. It wasn't noise, it was structure. Was it natural, or was it something else? The debate. The scientific community fractured overnight. Some argued the signal was caused by the comet's rotation or magnetic interactions with solar wind. Others whispered that it was deliberate, a transmission, a beacon. NASA released cautious statements calling it an anomaly under investigation. But behind closed doors, the data was being classified. The comet was approaching its closest point to the sun, its perihelion, and the signal was growing stronger. The transformation on October 29, 2025, 3I/ATLAS reached perihelion. For a brief moment, it was closer to the sun than Mercury, bathed in radiation intense enough to vaporize steel. Everyone expected it to disintegrate. Instead, it exploded with light. Its coma expanded to nearly 1,000,000 kilometers. Space telescopes were blinded. For several minutes, the comet outshone every planet in the sky. And then, when the glare faded, it was gone. In its place was something new, a dense, metallic sphere surrounded by a halo of plasma. It wasn't a comet anymore. The aftermath NASA scrambled to analyze the data. The object's mass had increased by nearly 40%. Its composition had changed, now containing metals like titanium, nickel, and silicon in quantities far beyond what any comet should have. It was as if the comet had transformed into something solid, something engineered. Theories flooded the internet. Some said it was a natural metamorphosis, a cosmic reaction triggered by solar radiation. Others claimed it was proof of alien technology, a self-replicating probe awakening after eons of dormancy. NASA said nothing, but leaked documents revealed that portions of the data had been sealed under national security protocols. Whatever 3I/ATLAS had become, it wasn't behaving like anything known to science. The return signal. 2 weeks later, the signal returned. But this time, it wasn't coming from the object. It was coming from deep space, the direction 3I/ATLAS had originally come from. The same 47-minute pulse, the same frequency. It was as if something, or someone, had answered. The silence. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the signal stopped. The object drifted away from the sun, its glow fading as it moved toward the outer solar system. Telescopes tracked it for months, watching as it slowed, then changed course, slightly but deliberately. It wasn't drifting anymore. It was moving with purpose. And then one day, it vanished. No reflection, no signal, no trace, just silence. The legacy years later, scientists still argue about what 3I/ATLAS was. Some call it a comet, others call it a machine. But for those who watched it unfold, one truth remains. It changed everything, because for the first time, humanity saw something that didn't fit, something that broke the rules of the universe. And somewhere out there in the dark, that thing is still moving. Maybe it's just a rock, maybe it's something more. But one thing is certain. The universe just reminded us how little we truly know.